العليم الحكيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مباركا مرحوما واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. اللهم لا تجعل فينا ولا منا شقيا ولا محروما. First of all, I'd like to welcome my brothers and sisters for attending this halaqah. Alhamdulillah. We have a competition with the weather, so it's nice weather outside. So people want to spend some time outdoors. So again, to make time to come to the masjid, alhamdulillah, this is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when we gather in the masjid, in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the malaika are with us, they surround us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions every one of you in the gathering of the malaika. That's according to the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, وَاجْتَمَعَ قَوْمٌ فِي بَيْتٍ مِّن بُيُوتِ اللَّهِ يتلون كتابه ويتدارسونه بينهم إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة وغشيتهم الرحمة وحفتهم الملائكة وذكرهم الله فيمن عنده. When a group of believers gather in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reading His book and studying His book, as-sakina, tranquility will descend upon them, and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cover them, and the malaika will surround them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will mention them. So this is the great blessing, to be among those that are mentioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just for making time to come to the masjid and participate in this halaqah. Today's topic is character of the believer. Character of the believer. So it's made of two words, character and believer. So character, by definition, is a set of attributes and features that distinguish an individual. So character is a set of attributes and features that distinguish an individual. Could be integrity, loyalty, trustworthiness. These are some attributes. And this is what distinguishes an individual from the rest of the people. A believer, that is somebody who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and believes in His Messenger, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So character of the believer is the set of attributes and features that the believer acquires from the main sources, and the source is Kitabullahi wa Sunnatu Rasulih sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So as believers, we get our character or our manners from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in the hadith, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. His mission, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ, I was sent to perfect good character and good manners. This was the mission of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. And that's why we find in al-ibadat and like the pillars on which Islam is based are all related to makarim al-akhlaq. Salah, for instance, prayer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةِ, establish prayer. إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ. for salah, tanha. It stops or prohibits one from committing al-fahsha wal-munkar. That is the purpose of as-salah. So as-salah, which is one of the pillars of Islam, al-ghaya min as-salah, or the purpose of prayer, is that we should stay away from committing al-fawahish, okay, obscene sins, wal-munkar. Al-munkar, things that are not known among people, anything that is not usual among people. So that is called al-munkar. So as-salah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةِ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ. Az-zakah, which is given charity and zakah, again, that the fact of giving charity, giving zakah to the poor and to the needy, the purpose of that, again, is to raise our moral values and our manners and our character. And again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا وَتُطَهِّرُهُمْ بِهَا وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ. So, خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تُطَهِّرُهُمْ وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا. Take from their wealth, from their money, sadaqah, zakat, charity. And again, the purpose of this is to clean and to purify us. So purification is one of the purposes, or the highest purposes of giving sadaqah. The same thing with Sawm. So we're talking here about the pillars of Islam: Sawm, Zakat, Salah. The Sawm, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He mentioned the Sawm in the Quran, He said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Siyam is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for the people before you, that you may become the people of taqwa. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So again, the purpose of Siyam is that we attain taqwa. And to attain taqwa means that you purify yourself, you become a better person morally, as well as in the manners that we adopt and we acquire as believers. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in many ahadith again, said that a Sawm is not just to abstain from eating and drinking. A Sawm is far more than that. And the hadith, when he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man lam yada' qawla az-zuri wal 'amala bihi, فليس لله حاجة في أن يترك أو أن يدع طعامه وشرابه كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم." He who does not, or she does not give up falsehood and acting upon it, and لن يدع قول الزور والعمل به. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in need of him or her giving up their food and drink. So this is very clear. And also Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the hadith, when he said, رب صائم ليس له من صومه إلا الجوع والعطش ورب قائم ليس له من قيامه إلا السهر والتعب. So perhaps somebody is fasting, but all they get from their fast is thirst and hunger. And that's because of the way, they're not eating, they're not drinking, but they use their tongue to slander, to do backbiting, to harm other people, and so on and so forth. So Siyam is not to not eat and drink, but is to purify oneself to become a better person. Same thing, Rasulullah when he talks about sadaqah again is not just to give money and to give charity. Sadaqah even the mu'amalat ma'al nas. فهي صلى الله عليه وسلم said, تبسمك في وجه أخيك صدقة وأمرك بالمعروف صدقة ونهيك عن المنكر صدقة إماطة الأذى عن الطريق صدقة. So sadaqah is not just giving, but it's also when you meet your brother with a cheerful face, smiling, that is considered sadaqah. To enjoy that which is good is sadaqah. To forbid that which is evil, sadaqah. To remove harm from the street, if you find like a piece of glass or something that could harm people and you remove it, that is sadaqah. So again, all this is related to our manners and our behavior. And then Hajj also, which is one of the pillars of Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about Hajj, الحج أشهر معلومات فمن فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج. So al-Hajj, when we go to perform Hajj, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَمَنْ فَرَضَ فِيهِنَّ الْحَجَّ, whoever goes to perform Hajj, فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ. There is no argument, there is no foul language, there is no anything that is bad, anything that is considered as low morally, that should be avoided when we do Hajj. So again, we looked at the 4 pillars of Islam, and they're all, they want us, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us by practicing these pillars of Islam to be better people and to improve our behavior and our manners as believers. And when we see people that have bad manners or they lack bad manners and good character, that is directly related to their weak iman. So the weakness in iman is reflected in the way that we behave as people. So the weaker the iman, the lower our manners and our character. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in many verses calls upon the believers, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. And whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing us, calling us Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, that means that something after that call is of great importance. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu qulu fattaqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. Ittaqullah, to have taqwa in Allah, to be conscious of Allah, to be aware of Allah. وَقُولُوا قَوْلًا سَدِيدًا, say something that is good, something that is sadid, balanced, and has meaning, has benefits. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ حَقَّ تُقَاتِهِ وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Or you believe, اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ حَقَّ تُقَاتِهِ, to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the taqwa, as we talked about in today's khutbah, the scholars say that taqwa is to follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to stay away from the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbids. That is at-taqwa, and at-taqwa is from al-wiqaya. Al-wiqaya is protection. To protect yourself from غضب الله وسخط الله وعقاب Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is at-taqwa. Ittaqillah, that you have to keep in mind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is severe in punishment. So you have to protect yourself from that punishment by following Allah's commands and following the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam again related al-iman wal-akhlaq. So there is a direct relation between al-iman and our manners and our character. In one of the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, al-haya'u والإيمان قرناء جميعا فإذا ارتفع أحدهما رفع الآخر. الحياء, modesty and iman are together. They're like this together. If one of them is gone, the other one will follow. So which means that if you have no modesty, there is no haya, then there is no iman. And another hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا يصلح إيمان أحد لا يستقيم إيمان أحدكم حتى يستقيم قلبه. لا يستقيم إيمان أحدكم حتى يستقيم قلبه ولا يستقيم قلبه حتى يستقيم لسانه. It's a direct relationship between the iman, our heart, and our tongue. So which means if the iman of a person will not be sound unless what's in the heart is sound. So you have a good heart, you have a pure heart. And you only have a pure heart when you have a good and a sound tongue. Because the tongue can ruin what's in the heart, and if the heart is ruined, then that means that Iman is going to be very weak. And the other thing is, we have some people that, they appear to the general public that they are good Muslims, they pray in the masjid, they fast, they give charity, and so on and so forth, which is a good thing. But behind the scenes, they do things that are unacceptable and have nothing to do with Islam. And this is dangerous, because in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, it was mentioned to him that a woman who was known for her, siyam, and for her qiyam, and for zakat, charity, and so on and so forth. تذكر فلانة بكثرة صلاتها وصيامها وصدقتها. So this woman who was known in the community for being, somebody who prays a lot, and somebody who fasts a lot, and gives charity a lot. But at the same time, وَلَكِنَّهَا تُؤْذِي جِيرَانَهَا بِلِسَانِهَا, that she harms her neighbors with her tongue. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not hesitate for a second to say, "Hiya fi an-nar," she is in the hellfire. وَلَعِيَذُ بِاللَّهِ. So despite being somebody who prays a lot, and somebody who fasts a lot, and somebody who gives charity a lot, that cannot prevent somebody from going to the hellfire because of their bad mouth. So we have to be careful. Being a Muslim does not only mean that you have to pray and you have to fast, and you have, at the same time you have to be careful and you have to watch the things that you do, especially when it comes to dealing with people. And the other woman that was mentioned, بِقِلَّةِ صَلَاتِهَا وَصِيَامِهَا, another woman who was known, she did not pray a lot and she did not fast a lot. But she did not harm her neighbors. وَلَكِنَّهَا لَا تُؤْذِي جِيرَانَهَا بِلِسَانِهَا. And again, Rasulullah ﷺ in this case did not hesitate to say, هِيَ فِي الْجَنَّةِ, she is in Jannah. So we have two contrasting examples. An example of somebody who seems to be like a very pious person, somebody who prays a lot and fasts a lot and gives a lot, and somebody who doesn't pray a lot and doesn't fast a lot. She does give charity, but not as much as the first one. But one of them harms people with their tongue, and one doesn't. So the one who doesn't, despite the very ibadah qalila, she was entered into Jannah, and the other one went to Jahannam wal-iyadhu billah. And this is hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And also Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, again, we're still talking about the relationship between iman and manners and character. When he said, "Wallahi la yu'min, wallahi la yu'min, wallahi la yu'min," Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 3 times. So 3 times, that means this is really serious. And the Sahaba radiallahu anhum قالوا من هو يا رسول الله خاب وخسر. And he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, من لم يأمن جاره بوادقه, the one who harms his neighbor, the one whose neighbor is not safe from his bawaiq. Al-bawaiq, bad things that you could harm the neighbor with. So Rasulullah said, لا يؤمن, which means that his iman is not complete. لا يؤمن, لا يؤمن, لا يؤمن. And the one who harms his neighbor, even if he prays and even if he fasts, even if he seems like a good Muslim. And also Rasulullah said, Man kana, it's also talking about iman and the manners and the character. من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر, whoever believes in Allah and the last day. من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. Let him say something that is good or be quiet. So if you have something good to say it. But if you don't, keep quiet. And also من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم ضيفه. الإكرام, hospitality. When you have a guest, take good care of them. If you believe in Allah and the last day, إكرام الضيف. And another hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam talks about al-khuluq al-hasan wal-khuluq al-sayy. And he said, al-khuluq al-hasan yudhibu al-khataya kama yudhibu al-ma'u al-jarid. والخلق السيء يفسد العمل كما يفسد الخل العسل. The example of good character, good manners, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, تذيب الخطايا, it will melt الخطايا. Your good manners will melt your khataya, just like water melts the ice. And bad character, bad manners, تفسد العمل, will corrupt your أعمال الصالحة, your good deeds. Just like if you put vinegar into honey, it will spoil it. So good manners and good character, that they do remove bad deeds, and the bad manners and bad character can spoil good deeds. And another hadith, Rasulullah again said, ثلاثة من كن فيه فهو منافق وإن صام وصلى وحج واعتمر. So we have to be very careful here. Three things, Rasulullah said, if you have these three things, whoever possesses these three traits and characteristics, فهو منافق, he is a hypocrite, even if he prays and fasts and hajj and from umrah. You hear that? وقال إني مسلم, even if he claims that he is a Muslim. Very serious. Three things that Rasulullah said, if you possess them, if somebody possesses them, he or she is munafiq, hypocrite, even if they pray, they fast, they claim to be Muslim, they perform hajj and umrah. And he said, إِذَا حَدَّثَ كَذَبَ وَإِذَا وَاعَدَ أَخْلَفَ وَإِذَا تُمِنَ خَانَ. And these are all to do with character. When he or she talks to people, they lie. And when they are entrusted with something, they betray their trust. And when when they give a promise, they don't fulfill that promise. So إذا تكلم كذب وإذا وعد أخلف وإذا اؤتمن خان. So if one has these three characteristics, these three traits, he or she is hypocrite, munafiq. Even if you pray, even if you fast, even if you claim to be a Muslim. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, سئل Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, من أحب عباد الله إلى الله, the most beloved people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is, always hear a hadith like this, the most beloved to people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam always says things to do with values, character, and manners. And he sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this instance said, أحب عباد الله إلى الله تعالى أحسنهم خلقا. The best, or the most beloved people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those who have the best manners and the best character. And also Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was asked on another occasion, أحب الناس إلى الله, and he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أنفعهم للناس. أنفعهم للناس. Those who benefit others. And when he was asked, أحب الأعمال إلى الله, the most beloved acts, or the most beloved deeds to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, سرور تدخل على مسلم, to bring joy to your fellow Muslim. Especially in our time when everything is getting so expensive, and there are a lot of families who are struggling to make ends meet. If there's a family that you know that is going through a lot of struggles, and if you bring joy to them by helping them in any way you can, that is an act that is most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And another hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أن أمشي في حاجة أخي أحب إلي من أن أعتكف في مسجد هذا شهرا. To help my fellow Muslim, to go and help him with his affairs, it is better for me doing i'tikaf in the masjid and Nabawi for a whole month. So this is what the character of the believer is. And also good character will earn us a place in Jannah next to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ألا أخبركم بأحبكم إلي وأقربكم مني مجلسا يوم القيامة. Shall I inform you about the most beloved to me and those who will be close to me in Jannah? And he sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not say those who pray the night or fast all the time or give this or give that. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أحاسبكم أخلاقا, the ones who have the best manners and the best character. And there are many ahadith. Another hadith of Rasulullah said about good character, he said, there is nothing heavier on the scale Yawm al-Qiyamah than husn al-khuluq, good character. So it is very, very important that we, as believers, as followers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that we should acquire the best manners and the best character. And we can only get that from the teachings of the Quran and the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And with that, we can attain a very high status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the hadith said, إِنَّ الْعَبْدَ لَيَبْلُغُ بِحُسْنِ خُلُقِهِ عظيم الدرجات في الآخرة وأشرف المنازل وإنه لضعيف العبادة وإنه ليبلغ بسوء خلقه أسفل درجة في جهنم والعياذ بالله. In this hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إن العبد ليبلغ بحسن خلقه. A person will reach with his good character and good manners the best of ranks on the day of judgment. وأشرف المنازل وإنه لضعيف العبادة. Despite his weaknesses when it comes to ibadat, he doesn't have a lot of ibadat. And we've seen other ahadith that talk about somebody with ibadat, but with bad character and bad manners, that did not prevent them from going to the hellfire. So despite weak ibadah, if we are weak when it comes to our ibadah, with our worships, with our nawafil, but we have good character, we have good manners, That is the best thing that you can have. And this reminds me of the hadith of Prophet ﷺ when he asked the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ani al-muflis, who is the bankrupt in Islam. And the Sahaba radiallahu anhum قالوا المفلس يا رسول الله من لا درهم له ولا دينار. The one who doesn't have any money. That's the one who is bankrupt. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam corrected them and he said, المفلس من أمتي من يأتي يوم القيامة بصلاة وصيام وصدقة ولكنه شتم هذا وقذف هذا وأكل مال هذا وظلم هذا فيأخذ هذا من حسناته وهذا من حسناته فإذا فنيت حسناته من قبل أن يقدم عليه طرحت عليه خطاياهم فطرح في النار والعياذ بالله. وكما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. So in this example, or in this hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he asked the Sahaba about somebody who is muflis, when he said that muflis is the one who doesn't have any money, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said al-muflis is the one who comes on the day of judgment, Yawm al-Qiyamah, because that is the real loss. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran when he said in Surah Al-Zumar, إن الخاسرين الذين خسروا أنفسهم وأهليهم يوم القيامة ألا ذلك هو الخسران المبين. So the real loss or the bankruptcy والفلاس is the one who loses himself and his family on the day of judgment, and that is the clear loss. كما قال الله سبحانه وتعالى ألا ذلك هو الخسران المبين. So al-muflis, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, is the one who comes on the day of judgment with a lot of salah, a lot of zakah, siyam. So in the dunya he did a lot of good things, a lot of good deeds. But at the same time, شتم هذا, he insulted this one, وقذف هذا, he accused this one, وأكل مال هذا, and he devoured the wealth and the money of this one. So he did, besides the good relationship that he had with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and al-ibadat, his behavior with the people was bad. And on the day of judgment, لا مال ولا أهل ولا منصب, nothing. Your money, your wealth, your network, your connections, your family won't be of any benefit. يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون. On the day that al-mal, the wealth, and al-banun, your close, your family, your sons, your daughters, your brothers, your sisters, they will not be able to benefit you. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ, except those who come on the day of judgment with a pure heart. So, the currency on the day of judgment is not the dinar, it's not the dollar, but it is your good deeds. So, anything that you did here, if you wronged anybody here, you will pay them with your hasanat. And this is like a transaction. So, you insulted this one, he's going to take from your hasanat. You devoured the wealth of someone, you steal from someone, you're going to give them back by paying with your hasanat. So, if your hasanat run out before you pay back what is due to them, then what happens? Instead of giving them from your hasanat, you will take from their sayyi'at. So you'll have a lot of sayyi'at just because of the things that you did with the people in the dunya, and that فَطُرِحَ فِي النَّارِ, and that will end up with somebody in the hellfire. So that is the definition of al-muflis by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So we can see as Muslims, It is not enough just to pray and to fast and to give zakah and to be a good person when it comes to your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we also have to have a good relationship with the people, our brothers and our sisters. Hadith that we talked about today in Jum'ah, which is a comprehensive hadith and a very short hadith, but it is concise and to the point, that talks about 3 things, 3 rules. And this is min Jawami' al-Kalim, a comprehensive speech of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And it is narrated by 2 great Sahaba, Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu wa Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu. In this hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, اتق الله حيثما كنت وأتبع الحسنة السيئة تمحها وخالق الناس بخلق حسن. اتق الله حيثما كنت. And اتق الله means you want to protect yourself from the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So taqwa Allah is to put a protection between you and the sakhat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Taqwa Allah is to follow Allah's commands, is to do the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands you to do. At the same time, to abstain, to stay away from anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made haram. Backbiting is haram, so we should not backbite. Lying is haram, we should not lie. إِذَا تُمِنَ خَانٍ, as we mentioned in the previous hadith, when you are entrusted with something, you have to fulfill that trust. When you promise something, you have to fulfill that promise. You do not engage in haram actions or haram transactions like dealing with riba, taking interest, or be involved in things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made haram. So doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands you to do and staying away from the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made haram, that means ittaqillah haythuma kunt, whenever and wherever you are. This haythuma means the place and the time. So whenever and wherever. Because some people, as we've seen in the hadith, they appear to be good people, but behind the scenes, they could be doing or involved in things that have nothing to do with Islam. And the second thing that Rasulullah said, وَأَتْبِعِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا. And this is because, again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created us as human beings. And then human nature is that you are going to make mistakes. You will commit sins. You will do bad things. You will mess up. That's the reality. That's the human nature. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create us as angels. Okay, so you're going to make mistakes. And that's why in Surah Al-Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He said, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَعِدَّةٍ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Jannah, heaven, paradise, عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ, as wide as the heavens and the earth, prepared for al-muttaqeen, people of taqwa. Talking about pious and righteous people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about their attributes. الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ. Those who give, spend, فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ, in good times as well as in bad times. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ. So the generosity, when it comes to giving, الْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ, those who control their anger. وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ, and those who forgive people. These are some of the attributes of people of taqwa. وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالَّذِينَ, so this is Jannah that is prepared for muttaqeen who do these things. But at the same time, وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ ذكروا الله فاستغفروا لذنوبهم ومن يغفر الذنوب إلا الله ولم يصروا على ما فعلوا وهم يعلمون. So these people of taqwa, these pious, these righteous people, they're not immune from sin. They're not even immune from committing al-fahisha. But when they do that, what happens? ذكروا الله. They remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and right away فاستغفروا لذنوبهم, and they seek forgiveness for their sins. وَمَنْ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and who is there to forgive than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَمْ يُصِرُّوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلُوا, and they do not insist on continuing committing those fawahish, means they stop. So, and there is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when I believe Talha radiallahu anhu met Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he said, نافق حنظلة. نافق حنظلة. So Hanzala radiallahu anhu met Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and he said, نافق حنظلة. Hanzala becomes a hypocrite. And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq looked at him and said, how come? What is it? And he said to him, when we are in the presence of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he tells us about Al-Jannah wal-Nar, these things, كأن نراها رأي العين. It is as if we see Jannah and Jahannam in front of our eyes. But as soon as we leave Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we get busy with our families, with our business, with our work, and we forget. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu said, I have the same issue, so let's go to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when they went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they told him, and he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to them, if you are, when you leave me, just as like the time when you spend with me, if you remain in that same state, same level of iman, then al-malaika will tusafihukum al-malaika fi turuqat. And he said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ولكن ساعة وساعة. Sa'atun wa sa'a, which means that sometimes you're going to have the high iman, but sometimes you're going to have your iman will drop a little bit, but you should always try to rectify and remain in that middle path. So as believers, as mu'mins, we are going to make mistakes and we are going to commit sins, and when we do that, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in the hadith, أتبع السيئة الحسنة تمحوها. Follow up a bad deed with a good deed, it will erase it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he said, وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ أقم الصلاة طرفي النهار وزلفا من الليل إن الحسنات يذهبن السيئات. الحسنات remove السيئات. And the last thing that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in this hadith, وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ. خَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ. This is just this on its own. خَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ as a rule. And if we apply it in our lives and apply it in our day-to-day life, it will make us way better people. When dealing with people, Rasulullah ﷺ said, "An-nas in general," and I keep emphasizing on this because some people say, the kuffar, we don't have to be kind to them, we don't have to be nice to them, we can steal from them, we can do this to them, we can do that to them. It's wrong. That is wrong. Because as Muslims living in this society, people will judge Islam according to our actions. Because when you as a Muslim do something, the blame is not only going to be on you, but it's going to be on the deen as a whole. You're going to say, look at the Muslims, what they do. And they blame Islam for that. And we've seen this time and again. People will blame the religion because of the acts of people who follow that religion. Especially Islam is under attack all the time. People are always looking for things to tarnish the image of Islam. So as Muslims, when it comes to our manners, our character, it does not matter who we are dealing with. You have to be kind, and you have to deal with people in the best possible manner, as Rasulullah said, وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ. خَالِقِ النَّاسِ, not the believers, not the Muslims, and nas in general, regardless of their faith, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of the color of their eyes or the color of their skin. You have to deal with them in the best possible manner. And that is Islam, and that is what we should reflect. And that's what's going to influence people when it comes to our deen. And I conclude with a poem that says, إِنَّمَا الْأُمَمُ الْأَخْلَاقُ مَا بَقِيَتْ وَإِنْهُمْ ذَهَبَتْ أَخْلَاقُهُمْ ذَهَبُوا. إِنَّمَا الْأُمَمُ الْأَخْلَاقُ مَا بَقِيَتْ وَإِنْهُمْ ذَهَبَتْ أَخْلَاقُهُمْ ذَهَبُوا. Al-Umam, nations, they will prosper as long as they have good manners and good character. And when their character and their manners disappear, they will vanish and they will perish. إنما الأمم الأخلاق ما بقيت وإنهم ذهبت أخلاقهم ذهبوا. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I think we'll have a few more minutes if there are any questions, any comments. Would like to add anything? You have any question, please? No.
So when giving sadaqah in the form of, say, money or things, can they give it to anybody, or does it have to be like people who are eligible to get zakat, only those people?
Again, can you repeat?
So when we are giving sadaqah in
Yes.